Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a testing new products. Get ready with me, and I'm going to try out the Easy Blur from Huda Beauty. We're going to try out Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette, along with a few other goodies like the Hourglass blushes. I've got a lot of new products in this video. So if you want to see how this works and if it's truly a filter in a bottle, we're going to put it through a 12-hour wear test tonight. So that is going to be just perfect, and I think it'll give you some good insight into the products. Do some check-ins throughout the night, and I'll give you some information about each product and how I'm liking it and how it's working. If you like these kind of videos, then just please hit the subscribe button, join my channel. I would love to have you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, give me a like, share, all those things, comments. That truly helps. That is all. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the application. Alright, starting with the Too Faced Fluff and Hold Laminating Brow Wax. This is something I purchased for 50% off on Sephora's sale page. It was like $13, and it's no longer available on Sephora's website, but just check Too Faced and I'll put it on screen if I can find it. Sometimes they do that before it's getting ready to be discontinued, so this product might get discontinued. But I've seen a lot of people swear by this and say it's like their favorite brow gel. So I would be surprised if they did, or maybe they're just going to reformulate it. It's very liquidy. Here's what the spoolie looks like, and you can see it has that like blue gel tint. And then you put the applicator back in, screw it in, and then if you just pull this off, you have your little like comb and brush side. I don't use that. What I've been doing recently is taking my Rare Beauty brow gel that's empty. There you can see that barely anything on the applicator. Instead of just throwing it away, I've been using this because I find if I use the comb in that Too Faced product, it just doesn't work very well for me. I just find that this works the best. And maybe it's because I'm mixing two formulas, kind of. But like I said, this one's basically gone. So I don't think it's that. I just think this is a very nice applicator. And I think it just works better, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with this Too Faced. It's just, for me, sometimes if you use a little bit too much, you'll see a little bit of flaking happening. Not a huge deal, but it is something I've noticed. So I always like to mention everything just in case it's a big deal to you, because some people that is a huge deal. But we'll see if I can catch it on camera later, but it's usually after they dry and when I move on to do my brows that I notice that. Moving on, we're going to prime the lids and we're going to start on the eyes. FYI, I also filmed a lash lift video. I'm trying to get close so you can see. I just got out of the shower and they're still really curled. This is the spoolie that came in the lash lift kit, and I've just been using it to brush them because it says to keep brushing them, but they are intensely curled, even more so today than right after. I think it got even better overnight somehow, and I don't know how, but I'm okay with it because they look really lifted and really curled. I think for today I'm going to do the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I might use a little bit of NYX glitter primer as well. We will see where my creativeness takes us. But I'm just going to put some MAC Paint Pot on the Sephora 71 concealer brush. It will look a little bit yellow, but that's okay. It's almost like a concealer shade, but what it does is it cancels out all of the veins on my eyelids, and it also works really well as an eye primer. If you've ever wondered about the MAC paint pots, a lot of people use the shade Painterly that are a little bit lighter in skin tone. So if you have a more fair skin tone, Painterly might be the best option for you because it has like a pink undertone to it. That is the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I'm so excited to finally play with this. I've taken some pictures and swatched it. I've been waiting to play with the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette with you guys, and I can't wait to create a look. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to start with Mellow right here. It looks like a very light peach shade. We'll see what that looks like in the crease. Going back in with a little bit of mellow. And now you can see already how this is not going to matter that we have a yellow base down, because I'm going for a very warm look. If you're going for a more cool toned look, I would suggest the Rare Beauty or the ABH eyeshadow primer. The ABH eyeshadow primer is very light, almost white even, and it'll make cooler toned shadows pop better on your lid. So those are 2 suggestions that I would have for that. All right, this is also the BK Beauty 212 brush. It's my favorite brush to use for transition. I'm going to just use it again and go into Ripe, which is just a little bit of a deeper, pinkier peach shade. It has more of a pink undertone to it, where this has more like a yellow peach undertone. I'm going to concentrate it out here and use it to kind of lift my eye shape a little bit. And it just elongates that crease. And it is looking so pretty already. I'm just kind of softly blending them together. Pretty. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of Ripe. And I'm going to focus it right here. And then blend it up softly. Like I like to focus most of the product in the crease and then blend it upwards, just so you're not taking too much product up here. You just want it to be a nice soft gradient blend, you know what I mean? Okay, now I think what I'll do is switch brushes to the N13 from Nikki LaRose. Let's try Soft Spot right here and see what that does. It's got a little bit of kick up in the pan, just to show you. Okay, that's a really pretty shade. It's soft. And it says this is a warm palette, but this is more of a cooler toned neutral brown in my opinion. But the mixture is looking really nice. And now I'm just kind of fluffing towards my lash line a little bit. Whatever's left on the brush. Just very softly. And then I'm going to blend upward. I'm doing very light pressure. And then up to that elongated, lifted crease we are creating. And then into the crease. And we will clean it up, don't worry. But that's all that I wanted to do with that color right now. I'm going to switch to a very small brush. I'm going to use the BKA 504. And I'm going to go back into Soft Spot, that same shade. Pick up the kick up in the pan. And I'll use that and just blend it towards my lash line. And I could have used the same brush, but this just gives more precision. I'm really just wanting to keep it right here. Let's go into Pep, which is the darkest brown in the palette. I'm going to grab it on my 208 from BK Beauty, which is a very small angled brush. For me, personally, I like to take this brush and just go into like the very corner of this shade, just so I'm not messing up the shade. I don't know why, but that's just important to me. And it's a little trick I thought maybe some of you would appreciate. It just keeps it looking cleaner longer, in my opinion. If you care about your palette's cleanliness like I do, that's just a little tip. And I'm taking this on the lash line, which is hard to do right now because I have such a lash lift going on. So I'm just kind of taking it and stamping it along the upper lash line. I'm really focusing it out here on the outer part of my eye, because I want to create a very soft wing. I'm I'm going to put that down for a second and grab an eyeliner. I'm just going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Demolition. And I'm going to use this to tightline. Okay. I think I'm going to use a little bit of the NYX glitter glue for this, just in case. I only use about that much. Now I'm going to go into the Morphe Ariel A29 brush. It's just a soft, flat brush that I can use for shimmers. And I'm going to go into Dynamism first. I'm just going to take whatever's on my finger just to see what that looks like. Ooh, it's very pretty. Now I'm going to take it on the brush and just softly place that down. Just do patting motions. Let's go into Push. It has more of a pink base to it. And then Snug. And then Fancy. There we go. And that way I could show you the shades and then use the brush as well to further pat it down. So back in with Push first. And then Snug. And then Fancy. I wanted to use as many shades as I could, and it also goes from like darkest shimmer to lightest. That's like my favorite thing to do. I'm gonna grab this Nude Mood ColourPop palette, and it has this shade here that's almost gone. Some of that on the 212. There you can see it. And let's blend it under the brow bone. And that just smooths everything out. Beautiful. With my Natasha Denona palette, they sent some lashes that are very pretty. The style is Daisy. I thought that was very nice of them to send me a free gift. I'm going to wipe out the fallout under here. And it gives that nicely lifted look. So Benefit had the Goof Proof Brow Pencil on sale on QVC 2 for, I don't know, I'll put the price on screen, but it was a very good deal. And I've never tried it before. I've always used the Precisely My Brow. So this one is a lot bigger. And your product is like a triangular shape. And this is 3.5, which is the shade I normally use in Benefit. Also, of course, has the spoolie. But like these are big and they're cute. We're going to try this out today and see if I can do a quick fill in of my brows. I just wanted to try it. Everybody talks about this and the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I know the Precisely My Brow works for me, so I just wanted to try something new. And it's working really well. And like I said, I'm just going to do a very light fill in with this. Kind of shape my brows a little bit with this pencil, and then I'll use the brow pen at the end. I'm not a big fan of changing my brow products, but that looks like a nice good fill-in for now, right? Right? I like it. Okay, do the other side and they'll come back and I'm going to show you some primers. I use the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer on one side of my face. This is a silicone-free smoothing primer that she launched with her new foundation, and I want to try it on half of my face. She says to use a whole finger length on one side of your face, which I think is extreme, but I'm going to try it. We're going to see what this primer feels like. It feels nice and cool on the skin, but I'm not seeing any blurring happening. We'll let it dry down. It has a tack to it. It feels kind of tacky. Yeah, it's not blurring at all. Anyway, on the other side, I thought it would be appropriate to use the Glowish by Huda Beauty Blur Jam, which also says silicone-free smoothing primer. This one just comes in a jar. It is a red jelly consistency. Try to use the same amount on this side of my face, and it's the same thing. Very cooling on the skin. I would say as of right now, this one feels a little bit more smoothing. It feels a little thicker, I would say. They both feel tacky. This side, of course, feels a little bit more dried down than this side because where I just applied it, but I do not notice a difference between the two on the skin, and I do not notice any blurring happening. And there's people that rave about this Glowish primer. You can still see, like, my pores are even probably more emphasized now, in my opinion. Interesting. We're going to let that dry down while I do mascara, and this is the Givenchy Volume Disturbia Mascara. 24-hour wear. And listen, this is one of those times where I got sold by TikTok. I was watching Jeffree Star do a live about the Gucci highlighters, and he was using this mascara. Can we take a moment for the packaging? And his lashes looked insanely beautiful. So I wanted to try it, and where I just did a lash lift, I thought it would be really cool to see. And it was time for me to open a new mascara, so I went with something new. This is what the wand looks like. It's very intimidating, to be honest, but we're just going to see what happens. My lashes are super curled right now. Like I said, I think where I did the lash lift and then slept on my side, it's made them even more intense. So what I'll probably have to do is apply some mascara and then take my tweezers or a clean spoolie and just maneuver them a little bit so I don't get too much of a mess going on. More of a drier formula, which I'm appreciating right now with the state my lashes are in. Take tweezers and just gently move my lashes around. It's looking really good already. Okay, so that was a little intense. I'm going to have to try the mascara once this lash lift has settled a little bit. Let's go into the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation from Huda Beauty. I've got mine in the shade Apple Pie 255B, which is more of a beige undertone, but I felt like a lot of her neutrals were pulling very warm, and I would just thought this might work, so it looks warm too. And I don't have her brush, but this one's so similar that I want to try it. It's from IT Cosmetics, the Heavenly Skin Bye Bye Pores powder brush, but look, it looks just like her foundation brush, so I'm just going to try it and see what happens. Why not? This is the side with the Easy Blur primer. And so far, the shade looks good, but it's also not blurring. Well, as of right now, I'm not impressed with either of the products, and I thought it was going to be like a holy grail. I'll try a different brush on the other side. How about that? Because she suggests not using a sponge with this product, so I'm not going to. I just thought this brush looked very similar to the one she's selling with this product, so I wanted to try it. Let me look up close. I mean, it looks nice, but it does not blur. Why is this called Easy Blur? So now that I've ruined my pretty white brush, let's do the 101 from BK Beauty on this side. And then we'll build it up a little bit. Like I said, I think the shade is pretty spot on. And I'm sure once we add the powder, it'll look really nice. I'm just saying, like, initial thoughts, it's not blurring near as much as I thought it would, considering the name and considering the reviews that I've seen, which a lot of them have had the same thoughts initially about it being like more of a natural finish, but I've also seen some that claim that it's very blurring at this point, and I'm not saying that at all. I'll look up close here in a minute, but I'm also thinking maybe this side looks a little bit more blurred right now. But that could just be the lighting, so I will look up close once I blend this part out. Looking up close in my handheld mirror, no. Both sides are very radiant and accentuating all of my pores. This is not blurring at all. Wow. I'm actually kind of mad and a little bit shocked. I mean, I'm super radiant. I shook it well. I've applied it like she said. Now, the only thing I'm going to give her some slack on right now, she said a buildable blur. So let's see if I build this up, if it gives more blur. That did not do anything. Like, the coverage was good with one layer, so it didn't need built up. I was just doing it because she said buildable blur. I am not enjoying this right now. Hopefully with powder it will all come together because I gotta go to work. Oh my god. I would never, ever put something on this dewy and radiant to go work a 12-hour shift. My skin type cannot handle that. I'm going to take my Stands Out sponge and try to press this in and pray for the best. Sometimes the Stands Out sponge will help a foundation look a little bit more airbrushed. But I fear this is not capable of helping this foundation out. And the primer, like, I'm so upset. They are not blurring products. Why would you name them Easy Blur? I don't understand. I do not have a new contour to try in today's video, so I'm just going to use my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand in the shade Fair Light, or Fair Medium, I'm sorry. And I'm just going to dot some of this on, like I normally would. That should be good. And then make sure you always turn it to the off position. And now I'm going to go into my Makeup by Mario F4 brush. And that blended very nice on top of the foundation. I'm praying that powder will save this. Can we all say a little prayer together? Now with this to the off position, I just take my brush and lightly go over the sponge tip and pick up excess product and lightly build my contour right here on my cheekbones, just so I'm not leaving any product there to get crusty on the applicator. Okay, nice blend. Now I'm going to do my nose contour. Westman Atelier, nothing new here. Lips. We're going to use the Huda Beauty concealer today. I have it in the shade 2.7 Coconut Flakes. And this is what the doe foot looks like. I used this concealer the other day for the first time in a while, and it looked really good, so I'm hoping it'll look good again today. I'll just use the A506 from BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy collection and blend this in. So far it's looking really nice. It's a really good concealer shade for me. As you can see, those 3 dots were more than enough. That is good coverage wise. I'll let it sit there for a second while I finish blending, and then I'll press it in. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to use to set my under eyes today, because I don't like to use Huda Beauty's powder to set my under eyes. I feel like it's too thick. It's too heavy. I do have a new powder, but I haven't tried it on my under eyes. I guess I could today for the sake of this video. Why not? The Makeup Forever Ultra HD setting powder. Okay, that's blended pretty good. Here's the Makeup Forever powder, and I have it in the shade Light Vanilla. Let me pat out some creases. I love this little sponge from Real Techniques. It's the Miracle Concealer Sponge. I love it. I've got this side ready to go. I'm going to use just an Amazon powder puff to set, and hope this is a good under eye setting powder. Tapping off the excess into the palm of my hand. Set this. Ooh, I like it. I was worried it would be a little too dark for my under eyes, but no, that's nice. I'm not going to put any more. I'm afraid to overdo it, so I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Moving on, I have two new blushes to try. I've got the Hourglass Liquid Blush. Shade is Seen. Very pretty. And then I also have the Cali Ray Blurry Blush in this shade Zen. So I want to try maybe one on each side, and if I need to mix them, I will. But let's try the Cali Ray first. This is the shade. Very, very pretty. And it says, a airy soft focus cream blush. Take it and put it on the palm of my hand here. Get an idea of the formula. And we'll use the brush from Rare Beauty, the blush brush. I'm just going to put the blush into this brush, and we'll see what happens. We could use some real blurring, you know? And I think it did. It's just a very light shade. Add a little bit more. Ooh, it's pretty. And actually, this is the first thing that's really blurring my skin. That says it will. Beautiful. I really like that. It's pretty. Now, let's go into the Hourglass blush on this side and see if we need to, like, combine them or if it'll look pretty similar. They're pretty similar shades, but this you just drop it out, and we're going to start with one. I'll use the same brush. Blend it out. The shades look really similar. This one just looks maybe a little bit more radiant is all. Very similar. Ever so slightly more radiant on this side, but just slightly. What I'll do is I'll add a little touch of this to this side. And then I'll add just a touch of the Cali Ray to this side. It's gorgeous. I'm loving both of the blushes, you guys. I can't get over the blush. They are just perfection. Loving the blush. Let's use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Pound Cake to set the rest of my face. This is a holy grail powder of mine. I've loved it for years. I've repurchased it several times, and let's hope it will dial down a lot of the shine, which I know it will, but I'm just a little bit bummed by the blurring claims of the foundation primer. I feel like they should have done a little bit more blurring instead of relying only on this powder to do the blurring when they are named Easy Blur. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. Let's go ahead and powder like I normally do. I'm going to powder right here. You all will be able to see instantly how well this does blur. The only thing I don't like about her powder is how scented it is, but it's alright. Look at all this shine. crazy. Now I see why there was so much focus on the 3 steps, because if you use just the primer and the foundation alone, you're not going to achieve the look that she was putting on her videos. It's just not possible without this powder. But you should not, I don't know, I just don't agree with putting out foundation and primer with the name Blur in it, but they only blur if you buy the powder. Like, that makes no sense to me. I'm like, if you watch all the videos of the influencers that got it in PR, she sent them all the powder to go with it. Interesting, huh? I am just going around and making sure I have powdered everywhere, because I can already tell you, I have a feeling this is not going to wear well with my oily skin, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I do not have a new powder bronzer to show you, so I will just speed through this part. It's my Haley's Rewind. Now I'm going to use my Too Faced Head in the Clouds blush. It's a blurring blush as well, and I'm just going to use it to sit over top of those 2 cream liquid blushes. Beautiful. This I'm also pretty excited to try. It is the Melanie Mills Hollywood Super Light Long Lasting Setting Spray. This is again something I watched Jeffree Star use in that video, and I thought, well, I want to try it because it's supposed to be like a Hollywood secret to setting your makeup. So we're going to spray this now, and then I might spray a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury on my one size on top. But let's see. It's lightly scented, but it's nowhere near as scented or as bothersome as the one size is. It's got a heavy mister to it. And right now my skin does look blurred and flawless, but of course that was the powder. I'm going to use my NYX Lift and Snatch, and then I will do a lip look, but I'm going to kind of speed through this because it's nothing new. What I want to do is I want to show you all something. The Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude lip liner. I've told you about this in some of my past videos. The Iconic Nude lip cheat from Charlotte Tilbury, I have a dupe for it. I'm going to put Charlotte Tilbury on one side and then the Moira on the other, so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll see if we can notice a difference in wear time or anything. I've swatched these and I've worn these separately, but I've never worn them together to see if I can notice a difference. But I'm telling you, they're so similar. One side done with Iconic Nude. I'm going to do a little bit of fill-in. So there is Iconic Nude. Here is Moira Must Have Lip Liner in Rose Beige. Look how similar. It's crazy. I'm going to use my ABH lipstick in the shade Tease. It's the satin formula. I feel like where it's a peachy color, it'll go good with the eye look. Then I'll take a little bit of the e.l.f. Michaela lipstick and pucker up right in the center. Lightens it up just a little. The Buxom full-on plumping lip polish in White Russian Sparkle. It's one of my favorite lip combos. Beautiful. Now I'm going to do a little bit of lower lash work. I'm going to use the same A504 brush in the shade Soft Spot and grab a little bit just to bring some warmth under my eyes to make my blue eyes pop a little bit. I'm keeping this shade in the outer corner here. Alright, now I'm going to go into, do I want to use Ripe or Fervor? I need to use something that's going to make my eyes pop. Let's go into Fervor. Yes, it's a little bit warmer, so I'm going to bring that kind of in the middle. And it has a lot of kick up in the pan, just to warn you. Now I'm going to go into Ripe and finish off with Ripe. And now we're done. My one size on till dawn. I'm going to go ahead and spray that. And then I'll do my lower lash mascara. No wonder I was like, why is it looking so dark? It's because my light was knocked over. Whew. You have to hold your breath with that one. It's got a very strong scent to it. Now I'm going to do my lower lash mascara and I'm going to be done with my makeup look. Okay, guys, it's been roughly 4 hours since I applied this makeup, and I've already had to blot it once. I'm trying to get good lighting for you all to see. From a distance, it looks great, but I am noticing what I knew I would. There you go. So see in the light, it already looks like really heavy on the pores, and you can just see my oils trying to come through. Like I said, I've already had to blot once with toilet paper, so I just know this is not going to be a foundation that wears really well on my skin type. I don't like to judge things too quickly, but I mean, in certain lighting, it looks okay. But I feel it, for one. I could feel it on my skin. Sorry for the echo, I'm in the bathroom, but I can feel it. I don't like the way it looks and sits on my skin. And I just don't see it getting any better, but I'll try the foundation without the Glowish or the Easy Blur Primer and see if I like the foundation with one of my normal primers. But if not, I'm probably going to return both. I'm already feeling yuck, and I don't like that, so. Anyway, that's my 4-hour check-in. I will see you at my next one, and hopefully things get better, but I doubt it. Okay, so let's talk. This foundation is not wearing good at all. Both sides equally as bad. And actually the concealer's looking a little heavier than normal, so it could be that powder. But I have tested that powder and I like it, so I don't think it's the powder's fault. The lip liners are still both hanging on, and you can see this is the moira side and the Charlotte Tilbury side. My eyeshadow is starting to like come off a little bit in the inner corner, but that's okay. Mascara still looks very good considering my lash lift is intense right now. Everything, the blush, everything else looks really good. I'm just not a fan of that primer foundation. This is my 8-hour check-in, and I will see you at the end of the shift. Well, actually, right after I filmed this clip, I took the foundation off. I just left my eye makeup on, removed this foundation, and just reapplied one layer of my double wear and finished the night off after that. This was around midnight. So I didn't get a full 12-hour wear out of this foundation, and I just don't think you will if you have comboed oily skin, if you're using those two primers with it. I didn't find it worked well. It is $37 for 1 fluid ounce. It's not the most expensive foundation, but it wasn't cheap either. I purchased mine from Sephora, and I went with the shade 255 Apple Pie. It's a beige undertone, and this girl's undertone looked really similar to mine. It says it's better than airbrush, blurring, 12-hour wear, and lightweight. Now this image will show you that it is buildable coverage. However, the more I built it up, I only did 2 layers and I felt like it was so heavy on my skin. Now, I will say that had a lot to do with the primer, but we'll get to that. Now this just shows you the light to medium skin tones, and mine is somewhere in the middle, apple pie. Here you see all 29 different shades, and for me personally, I feel like they all run warm. Now, let's talk about this image here. I find it very interesting that they even have this listed on Sephora's website: prime, blur, and then bake. It's basically marketing that you have to have all 3 in order to get that no filter, no retouching look. I spoke about it in this video, as you all know, but that was just my experience with it this day of filming, trying it with the Easy Blur Primer and the Glowish Primer. As you can see on this image, it says shot on the iPhone, and her skin does look really, really good. I thought mine looked good too. I just feel like my aggravation is with the fact that these are called an easy blur product and they do not blur on my textured skin without the powder. Now, speaking of powder, I have used this product, the Easy Blur Foundation, with several other powders since filming this, and I have found ways to make it work, but regardless, it does not wear over 8 hours on me without having oil breakthrough. That's not a huge deal to me because I have several foundations that I love that do the same thing. So this is not going to be a top favorite, but it's not bad either. You just have to find a good way to make it work for you. And some people don't like that. So that's just my experience and I wanted to share it with you just in case you are on the fence about it. Now moving on to talk about this primer, it's $29 and you get 1 fluid ounce. And I have heard rumors that it is like a replacement for the Glowish Blur Jam. They were very similar on the skin. I couldn't tell much of a difference. I just felt like the Glowish Blur Jam was a little bit more thick and smoothing on the skin. And then I feel like a lot of these images that they have posted, they say no retouching, but I'm sorry, I did not experience that level of blurring with just applying the primer. I know some people are loving it. I'm just letting you know my experience. I have large pores, I have combo skin, and that's just the truth of it. A little bit about the primer. It is silicone-free, ultra blurring, jelly-like texture, instant oil control. Now, speaking of that, I did not experience any oil control whatsoever. And again, here we are with that same picture, this time with Huda, and it's telling you prime, blur, and bake. So it's giving you the details right here without saying too much. They're saying a lot. They're saying you need all three in order to get this result. Now, enough about that. I want to talk about some positives. The Makeup Forever HD Skin Setting Powder. I love this. I love the packaging. I love the shade. I went with 1.1 Light Vanilla, ideal for light skin with neutral to golden undertones. I think anybody with light to medium skin could pull this off. It might even work on fair skin because I feel like it's just a translucent shade. This tells you about it. It locks your look and locks in place. Innovative, mess-free packaging, and it also comes with a pro-crafted puff. There are 6 shades to choose from on Sephora's website. There may be more on Makeup Forever's website. I will look into that, but it is a beautiful powder. I have been using it to set my under eyes, and I can also use it to set my face, and I feel like it really is oil controlling. And I feel like the Huda Beauty foundation wore extremely well when I used this powder too. So of course it works good with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder, but this one works just as well. So just giving you that heads up, this is a wonderful powder if you're in the market for one. Highly recommend it. Oh my god, y'all, this blush, the Cali Ray Blurry Blush, this is the shade Zen. I have been obsessed with this. It reminds me so much of Lunar Beauty's new liquid blush formula. It's like a liquid cream hybrid, almost like a little bit of a creamy moussey texture, but it blends so beautifully and it actually does blur. So it tells you cream to powder. It comes in 5 different shades. I couldn't pick between Zen and Dope. I actually might go back and get Dope now that I know I love it, but I ultimately went with Zen as a nude pink option. I just thought it looked so beautiful, especially on the light and light medium skin tones. However, I won't lie to you, I do feel like this shade looked a little bit ashy on the darker model. That's just my opinion, but it's so pretty. The shade, the formula, look, no pores. I absolutely agree with that. Pore minimizing, blurring, long wearing, hydrating, natural finish. It's beautiful. This formula is just like next level. I don't know, other than Lunar Beauty, I had never seen anything quite like it. This gives you a little bit of details. It says, calms redness, improves texture, and conditions skin with copper peptides and niacinamide. Blurs pores and absorbs excess oil with kaolin clay, no talc. Supports collagen production with Persian silk tree extract packed with antioxidants. And this picture is just showing you the 5 shades again and the packaging. I don't think you would be disappointed. I think you should definitely try this out if you're in the market for a new liquid blush. And then speaking of liquid blush, the Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush is beautiful. This one gives more of a natural, leaning more radiant finish, but it also has this blurring technology to it. It's really, really fascinating how the finish looks radiant yet blurred. I feel like that's where Huda was trying to go with the foundation, but just missed the mark a bit for me personally. Now, the shade I picked is Scene. This tells you that you have to shake it very well, and you're just going to press the little button lightly and then dispense a little bit into your hand. 1 drop, maybe 2 max is all you need. There are 7 shades in this line, and you can see here that Scene is the lightest shade and is just like a nude pink. That is just what I lean towards. I have seen people use Moment, and it looked really beautiful on light to medium skin. If you like a more peachy beige blush, I would definitely go for Moment. Now, of course, these are more pricey than the Cali Ray, but if you're looking for something like this that instantly hydrates, visibly lifts and plumps all 12-hour wear, ultra pigmented and blendable, silky smooth natural finish, and it's going to last such a long time, you're going to love this blush. I have no doubt about that. It's just you got to decide if you want to spend the money on it. Now, I did want to show you that you can get the Too Faced Fluff and Hold Laminating Brow Wax on the Too Faced website for $26. I did get mine on sale on Sephora, but it's no longer even available on the Sephora app. But I wanted to let you know if this is something you love or you just want to try it, it is available on the Too Faced website. And just a shout out, since I did use this in the video, the Cloud Crush Blurring Blush, also a phenomenal blush formula, 6 shades on Too Faced website, and it's $31. These go on sale a lot, so keep your eye out for that if you're looking for a powder blush. The next thing I want to talk about is this Melanie Mills Hollywood setting spray that I purchased from Amazon. It's quite pricey, but it's like the same price as the Charlotte Tilbury. I was heavily influenced to try it from Jeffree Star, and I'm not disappointed. I think it works really well. I'll just have to keep testing it to see if it would become a new holy grail or not, but I love it. The mascara is from Givenchy, the Volume Disturbia mascara. I purchased mine from QVC. It is $30. The packaging is absolutely stunning. Here is a picture to show you what it looks like if you have very straight lashes. It does give good lift and good volume. I'm loving this mascara, but like I said in the video, I will have to keep testing it as my lash lift kind of fades a little bit. And then I'll know exactly what this mascara is made of, you know? Now, the Goof Proof Brow Pencil Duo that I purchased from QVC, like I mentioned in the video, I got this on sale. It's a really good deal. I paid $28 for both of them. That is no longer the sale price on QVC's website, but you can still get the Duo for a good deal. This just shows you all the different shade options. I went with 3.5, and it tells you here it's a glide-on formula for fast and easy fill-in, non-sharpen, goof-proof tip, waterproof, 12-hour long wear. I agree with all of that. Benefit brow products are just top-notch. This shows you right now you can get it for $42 for the Duo, and there are like 10 shades, I believe, and this just shows you that I did pay $28. I don't know why QVC's pricing is always fluctuating. I don't really care for that, but it is what it is. All right, but that's everything. I think I covered everything. That's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. I do believe it's time for a declutter, so that might be my next video. Have a good one.